everyone watching at home. You're with Adelaide Eternal, bringing you our Vintage Challenge. I'm Sarven McLinton, and I'm in the booth with Beckett, Wolfe.
G'day, guys.
This time, we are looking at a match between Simon Hall and Sara Davey. This is a grudge match. The two of them have done a lot of testing together, and they're actually playing in this round. So everything kind of lined up. In a certain way, lined up Millhouse in this particular way. So let's have a look at their decks. Simon Hall is on Oath, but it's specifically punishing Oath. So if you haven't seen this before, the interaction between multiple Dak Fadens and Grove of the Burn Willows returning punishing fires that you've discarded to Dak Faden is a whole lot of card advantage, as well as the Ancient Grudges. So you get a whole bunch of card advantage, and you have punishing fire for I guess it's a win con, but most of all it's just there to kill Phyrexian Revokers and, all the other things with 2 toughness or less.
Yeah. Look, not much to say. I used to play this list, so I've got a lot of respect for it, really like it.
Awesome. Well, let's switch over to Sara Davey's deck. She is on Mud, so she's on Shops. Now, normally Shops would be a bad matchup for Oath, but there are additional, new little things where you can win off a really big Walking Ballista, which the Arcbound Ravager sacks your team to itself and then puts the counters on Walking Ballista.
We'll get there.
And then shoots the opponent before they get a time to actually trigger the Oath.
No, I think it's become a lot harder because not only is it a little bit faster and a little bit less locky, but as you say, the Ravager and the Ballista allow you to sack your creatures, so you can get you can not trigger the Oath and still have not lose out completely. You can sack them all.
Get them to a low life total, and then when the Oath comes
sack them all and put them on a Mistress Factory or something.
Beat them with a Mistress Factory. All these new builds with multiple Foundry Inspectors are great. Like when you play Foundry Inspector on turn 1 and then all of your things cost less, it's insane. You get to spam the board. So I guess we'll have a look at the match.
Let's check it out.
See how it goes. So the players are still shuffling and discussing how many... deck's being presented. So the typical situation is that Oath, is favoured against Shops. But here's a die roll. So 5 for Sara and I must have looked away when Simon rolled the dice. But being on the play for Shops is huge here. If you get out in front of them casting an Oath, it's pretty awesome. But if Oath actually has Oath in the opening hand, and they get a Mox and opening hand. They get to play Oath on turn 1 before the spheres come down. It's pretty difficult for them for Shops to win through it.
Yeah, definitely. Look, as I said, Shops. I'm happy to play against Shops, but I'm still scared for all the same reasons everyone else is afraid of Shops, because you can get sphered out, you can get Trina sphered, you can get Thorned, you can get Chaliced, and. Shops can still play its normal game against you, and it'll work perfectly fine.
Oh, it's a workshop hand, and for those who have sat in against a sphere player, someone playing various sphere effects, and you're looking at your win con in the hand, and you're like, if I can cast this, I win the game basically, and you just can't cast it.
Yeah, or you just can't dig because. Or your pre-dance cost 2 or 3.
Yeah, you can't.
And you think, I need to find this. It's only costing 1 more, but it makes a difference when instead of going, preordain, find DT, and then
and you can't
be able to do it
turn
next
1,
turn.
Turn 2,
It turns 2 turns into 4 turns.
Instead, you're going like land, deploy a Mox. Oh, you strip mine my land. Okay, so I'll play a land and then I'll try and deploy another Mox because otherwise I'm going to lose the game. And this time, then the turn after that, suddenly Trinsphere or like another sphere comes down, and you're like, oh, but I need to preordain to find my Oath. Like it's definitely relevant. So Simon has mulled down to 6 here, and he's just deciding on whether or not to keep. And it's going down to 5. So
out of respect for
thumbs
Shops,
up from Sara. I think it's definitely one of these things where he's going, I'm on the draw. I need an aggressive hand. Like I need a way to go land Mox, then to play through a sphere, and then the following turn deploy Oath of Druids, and you need a hand that is land, Mox, Oath of Druids.
I think Punishing Fire is not too bad. It's a little expensive, but it does kill off a lot of Sarah's deck.
Yeah, it's awesome, and same with Ancient Grudge. When you're looking at a Punishing Fire or an Ancient Grudge, and you're wishing that it was just a Lightning Bolt or a Fragmentize. And there's a reason why Fragmentize is seeing so much play. It
a Braid.
Or anything that costs 1 instead of 2. It looks like it's not that much of a difference, but when you're against shops, it's so frustrating when it's not. Costing 1.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. My list has got Abrupt Decays in it, but I've also got a Nature's Claim in there.
Yeah,
and
Nature's Claim. Yep.
So often that difference between Claim and Decay makes the game. So
that's Forbidden Orchard, and here's Soul Ring off the one thing that can be mental misstepped. Funny that the mental misstep is in the hand. Oh, that is a feel bad moment.
Mind you, I think someone actually mulled down to 4 in the
He's
end.
on 4, so this is one less.
Is that Ratchet Bomb?
No, this is some other masterpiece, Sphere of Resistance or something.
Sphere of Resistance, okay.
So there's the Grove of the Burnwillers. So playing Orchard there is a hedge to Wasteland because you just lead on your worst land, right? You don't want to tap the Orchard if you don't have to, and against creatures you don't want to, right?
That's exactly right. And
Founder Inspector. Yeah, Founder Inspector costs 4 here, but now everything else costs 1 less, which costs 1 more because of the sphere. So the two of them negate each other for you.
Yes.
So she can deploy a 2-mana threat here. But she doesn't have it. So the Founder Inspector is pretty insane though. So we'll just see what happens following turn. But this is the mull to 4, and I mean, so there's no Oath here. There's no third land, so it's a pretty precarious situation for Oath. Even though it's favoured in the match, it's on 4.
Yeah, I think I saw Duck Fading in the hand, which is going to take a little while.
Yep, that'll be a while.
And,
Ancient Tomb. So this is 8 mana. So this is a hanger back for 3, right?
That's it. And
No, it's actually 4 because it's plus minus, right? +1 from the sphere, -1 from the Foundry. So yeah, it is for 4. But the Force of Will Egyptian God card came out, and that leaves 1 card in Simon's hand, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Deck Fade. Or did he pitch? No, he pitched Misstep. Did he?
No, Misstep killed this Soul Ring. So yeah, here's just deploy.
Okay. So if he goes land Deck Fade and steal your guy, it's not too bad actually. It's got a bit of game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looks like Sarah's flooding out here, though, in terms of mana. This is definitely not the matchup you want to flood out on. Not that she has any choice about it. But, this is Arcbound Ravager, is it? It's some other kind of masterpiece thing. Yeah, if a counter came on it, it's probably Ravager. Ravager definitely changes the Oath equation, but it also changes the Dak Fade and gain control of equation.
Definitely. So the reason for that is Oath now can't just get a free cheeky win, because Sarah can just kill her creatures if she has to. Not ideal, but... back to square one for both of them. And also if Dak steals one of the critters, the other critter can finish off Dak.
Is that a Wasteland or Strip Mine effect? Because this means that the Dak Faden isn't coming down next turn, even though Simon took the turn to deploy a land. Is that an error there to not Wasteland something?
Was it a Wasteland? It is a Wasteland.
I think it is. It's again another one of these Egyptian.
She doesn't know he's got
mystical
the
magical
Dak Faden in hand. But surely if she's flooding out like that, she wants to...
I'm always afraid of Dak Faden.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, it costs 1 more, but so yeah. There should be a token on Sarah's side, because there's a reason why he deployed the Mox last turn, which was he knew that it cost 4, but he's just forgotten that it needs to cost an additional 1. Yeah, Sarah's giving him the hand symbol that it costs 4. Yep. All right. So play the land. Yeah, he's got the land.
So the Wasteland in the end would have just meant that Sarah gets a 1/1
which is not irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant, especially when Planeswalker's got 1 life.
Yep. So he tried to gain control of the Arcbound Ravager, which forces the sacrifice and put a counter on.
And I think that was perfectly correct.
Yeah. Deny choices is the main thing. I mean, I could see an argument of sacrificing the Pearl to the Ravager and then putting an additional counter on the guy. Yeah, here comes the Wasteland. So
that's got to be it, right? Swinging,
kill Dak. So it denies choice, but I think attacking face is relevant.
Yeah, okay. Actually, taking Dak there
Yeah.
for exactly Time Walk, right? Because Time Walk could go Dak ups, gets a good card,
and then Dak ups again. Dak minuses to gain control of the thing.
Well, he wouldn't have got a good card because he would have kept Time Walk, but then Dak gets to steal, so that's got him out of it.
Killing,
Very relevant.
She was absolutely correct to attack Dak because that was definitely a line.
Yeah.
Dak would have taken it.
There you go. Well played.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Here's another Foundry Inspector. And Bash Face for 5? Yeah, it's a lot. I think it's one more because there's 1 token and 4 from the Foundry Inspector, so he's actually on 2 here.
Yeah, well, it's looking pretty dire. I think he might have the Oath in hand, but it doesn't really matter, does it?
Bit late there.
Yeah, isn't that brutal?
Yeah.
Don't play the Oath. Don't give it the information.
Yeah, A-Call just to go, well, did I have anything? Didn't have anything. Right. Time to shuffle them up. And that's game. And this is even though it was a mull to 4, I mean, Oath is favoured in this matchup, right? And this is a testament to how strong Sphere of Resistance was. Mm-hmm. If Sphere wasn't deployed, you can just imagine how much earlier Dak came down, gained control of something, and really started to tempo the game out.
So you're not paying one for your Moxies. Your Moxies are actually doing their job, which is generating mana. Cheating in land drops, sort of. So, yeah, and I mean, like, that A-Call is different because then you get a Preordain and an A-Call, which for the same cost.
So, in terms of sideboards, Sarah's line is pretty straightforward. You know, she brings in Grafdigger's Cages and Caracas. That's what they're in there for. So, let's look at the more complicated line, which is Oath. Now, you're the Oath aficionado. What do you bring in this matchup?
Very good question. I don't mind Wasteland at all because additional land drops are good, and obviously there's lands that are very good, like Talarian Academy and Mishras that you want to kill. Mountain as well. Grove of the Burning Willows. So he's got 3 lands. 3 Ancient Grudges, what I like. Now, beautiful thing about Ancient Grudges, after you've triggered your Oath, you get a bunch of cards in the bin, and some of them might be Ancient Grudge, which you can flash back. So you can actually flash back and kill artifacts a lot of the time. Unfortunately, not with Grafdigger's Cage. Maybe even another Punishing Fire, because there's a lot of those cheeky 2 toughness creatures. And Life from Loam is a tricky one. It's a sorcery, 2-mana sorcery, which can get expensive, but getting your lands back is really, really handy. Yeah. The only thing I'd say about it is the times when it's really, really good is when you're getting really, really locked out by Thorns and Wastes. And that's the time when you might not be able to cast it.
Yeah, very good point.
But I think I'd still side it in because I really like it in this matchup. The games often grind out, and lands are very, very important. So a lot to side in. As far as siding,
so he's taken out.
I'd take out Flusterstorm, get Probe even, keep in my Dak.
So he's taken out all of the bad cards. We know the bad cards. It's always Mental Misstep, Flusterstorm, Pyroblast, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely don't want Pyroblast.
Most of the cards that you said there.
Yeah, so the cheap sort of cycly style cards, or as you said, there's nothing really misstep in this matchup. Nothing relevant, at least.
That's all right.
But what I really like is three lands to come in, which actually really helps against the Thorns.
It's definitely good. So now post sideboard with a bunch of Grafdigger's Cages in the mix, and then a bunch of Ancient Grudges in the mix, and then a bunch of Caracas in the mix, and a bunch of Wastelands in the mix. Who do you think's favoured? Like, it's actually quite complex.
I like Simon.
Yeah, I agree that Oath has the edge, always against creature decks, but it's really interesting to see how things play out when Sara gets to play the proactive plan, whereas Oath is usually the proactive deck, right? But then suddenly it's playing against a deck that's also proactive and faster.
Yeah, as you say, Simon gets in removal, he's getting in grudges and stuff. So, yeah, very interesting. Grudge is very, very good against Sara, but you find that, even that can be locked out. And it's so annoying when even your sideboard cards you can't cast because they're getting thorned.
Wow, it's a bunch of Moxen in both of their hands.
Yeah.
So Simon being on the play is pretty relevant.
So leading with Wasteland, Mox. So he's playing, these are all out because he ain't playing Tendrils and he wants to, he doesn't want to get them sphered, essentially.
Yep, absolutely. So this Lotus goes away, so something's happening. Something... is it trip blue and then he starts preordaining?
He's pretty safe not to get forced, so he's very happy.
Yeah.
Just crack. I think he's got a time walk.
Except those mud decks that have mind break trap in them, sideboard. Not saying it comes in here, but it's pretty hilarious.
So, Oath. Okay.
Wow.
So I think he was choosing between getting blue and going preordain, brainstorm.
I totally like this.
Or just going green. Yeah. Go green.
Go green. Go green or go home.
I don't mind holding Oath there, to be honest. I don't mind not doing anything because you let them play the critter.
Ooh, is this Phyrexian Revoker naming the Grizzle Daddy?
Grizzle Do? I don't like it. I prefer a 7/7 lifelink. I prefer a 7/7 lifelink that can pay 7 life and draw 7 cards.
But what if she's a Metamorph in hand? Oh no, she's naming the rocks. I don't know, because Grizzle Dad's coming out. But do you reckon she's sandbagging Metamorph and just going to get him? You know? Like, I'm not naming Grizzle Dad. No, but then he draws a bunch of cards and then removes it, right? Yeah. Sorry, that doesn't work. Yeah, so one of them had to name Grizzle Dad first.
I think I would just play neither. Because Grizzle Daddy is very good daddy. And
there he is.
Even if he doesn't draw 7 cards.
Lifelink flies.
He's a 7/7 flying lifelink.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree.
That pretty well wins games. So.
Yeah. If she had a cage, she would have, thrown that out straight away.
Yeah, just wait till you get a cage. He's obviously got a land heavy hand. Wait till you get the cage and then chuck it down and deploy your Revokers. I don't think you want to be in a position where you're ever naming Grizzlebrand. Really,
it feels bad.
Do you just lose? Honestly,
it does feel bad.
I wouldn't as you say. The only out is Metamorph, and then Metamorph can't draw. So you'd probably name it so that he can't draw cards to force your Metamorph. But otherwise, I just wouldn't be naming it.
He has no other lands.
Yeah.
So that decision to crack the Lotus was very pivotal, and the rest of his hand is Ancient Grudge, Preordain, Time Walk.
Yeah, I would have just held it, waited for Sara to play creature, and then deploy the Oath. Because Shops is the exact match up where they go, well, I've got creatures in hand, I need creatures to win, so I'm going to play creatures. He doesn't have Oath, I'm going to play creatures.
Good point.
And it's also the exact matchup where they go, he's got Oath, I have a lot of Graph Digger's Cage in deck, I can just wait till I get Graph Diggers.
Yep.
It's all depending on whether or not Oath's out.
I can see that. I can also see he might have been worried that Phyrexian Revoker comes out and names Black Lotus, and then he never gets to play the Oath. But that's a bit niche.
Quite niche, I guess. Yeah, then do not show the Lotus. And you just say, I've got enough Moxen. I've got enough Moxen to pay the tax.
Yeah. So this is a draw 7 off Grizzle Dad. Force of Will, your hanger back expedition masterpiece thing. Whatever.
I wouldn't even worry about it.
Yeah. He just doesn't want flyers. Is that the case? But then you just counter the Revoker.
Ravager, sorry. I just swing into the flyers.
Yeah.
And gain 7 life.
Yep. It might just be academic here. So he's just so far ahead with Grizzle Dad out.
Yeah, he's so far ahead, isn't he?
And when you're pitching Dak Faden, you're just you're far ahead. But Lotus and some of the rocks are gone. There's no taxes though.
The Rokers really aren't doing much at all, right? Because they can't swing. They're just.
Have you played Slice and Dice in Oath?
I don't know that card. So
it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. It is something like 6 mana, 4 damage to all creatures. All right, so unplayable.
Okay.
But it has cycling. Red, 2 colorless, 1 damage to all creatures.
Okay.
It kills all the Forbidden Orchard tokens you give your opponents.
It does, and it can't be countered, and it can't be
countered.
Sphered. I don't play red anymore.
And really, really, I assume it's good against the Oath Mirrors. Anyway, bashing for 7, gaining 7, playing land and Mox without any taxes out, feels like Simon advantage bar is 99% his way.
Yeah, I don't think there's any outs, right?
Metamorph is the only out.
Metamorph's the only out, and even then, Simon's got Force.
He's got Force, yeah.
He's got Time Walk.
He's got Time Walk. Yeah, this is largely academic now. So, I guess what we do is we think about what are Sarah's outs. Sarah's outs are top deck two metamorphs. So maybe she has one metamorph in hand, draws another metamorph, and then ends up having the ability to deploy both of them. I mean, that'd be pretty good.
Be pretty good. I think Time Walk is good in all decks, but especially this deck.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, so what have we got here? Nature's Claim. I mean, when you're so far ahead that you're just casting Nature's Claim to kill a 2/1 and get back a black mana, which is kind of like one of those Urza's spells where you cast the spell and it untaps the mana again. But in this case, it filters it into black mana. So it's 0 mana. Destroy a 2/1 Phyrexian Revoker. Well, it's just a sign that he's really far ahead. And now when he goes to discard, he gets to discard a bunch of Ancient Grudges and get value off that. But I mean, talk about value, he's already this far ahead. It's largely academic. So I wonder whether the next possible line would be going to game 3, obviously, after playing out for information. But the next possible line for Sara would be get an aggressive hand. She's on the play. Ensure that she mulligans into a hand with spheres or thorns or trin spheres. Some such. Anyway, this is the Time Walk turn, triggering Oath again and milling through something like 25, 30 cards. He has actually a very small number of cards in his deck, and he hits Emrakul.
Is he running Memory's Journey?
I didn't see Memory's Journey in that pile. We'll check the deck list, but he has a very small number of... lights went out. But we have the illuminated screen of the life totals. The light timer went out. Anyway, so he has what's that, about 6 cards? It's enough to attack, right? Enough to actually get in for lethal the following turn. So he has nothing to worry about in that respect. But I do not see Memory's Journey in his deck at all, so it's not going to be relevant, but, at least we know that... he's never going to trigger Oath again. This is a Punishing Fire with the dual decks, Dragons versus
I haven't
Knights
seen that one.
art or something.
I thought it might have been Ancient Grudge because I saw a little 1 mana cost at the bottom. But you're right, it is Punishing Fire.
So she's triggering Oath. Oh, Ballista for 0 feels so bad. You're like, I wish I'd achieved the Foundry out. That talk about the feel bads. Imagine if you flipped Metamorph there.
Yeah.
And then you played a second Metamorph.
Yeah.
And then you deck your opponent. Oh no, you can't because he'll block with Emrakul. He'll attack with Emrakul, and you'll sacrifice everything. Yeah, I will. Okay. Anyway, well that was entertaining. As entertaining as a one-sided Oath getting triggered Oath getting triggered match can be. Going on to game 3, is this a case of Sara mulls to her hand with a thorn or some kind of hate piece like that?
I think she just needs to find a hand that has things to do that don't involve fast creatures.
Okay.
If you get it, fine. It's not the best, but sure, you've got it. And try to have a backup strat where that creature is ravaged. I mean, I say try, right? It's like other cards. But I mean, ideally... don't just have Revokers. I don't think Revokers are where you want to be. Have Ravagers so that you can at least sack them. Mm-hmm. And chances are someone won't get the Oath out straight away. I'll have Ballista. And otherwise, you can just hold off because Simon's not really going to be able to interact too much. And if he's taking out his missteps, then your Graph Diggers have a good chance of getting in.
So would you only deploy your Garrison when your opponent, when you have Graph Digger's Cage? That's
no. So I would,
aside from fast,
I would. If it's fast enough, I'd deploy it, and generally I'd deploy it if I don't see the Oath. Yep. Now, of course, someone could be holding the Oath in hand, sure, but at least at the very least, now you're slowing him down because instead of being able to proactively play his win con around your Thorns, now he's got to hold it in hand, which he doesn't want to do.
Yep,
because he wants to play around the Thorns, right?
Yep.
So I think play the creatures, but obviously if you see the Oath like the last game, just wait for the Graph Diggers. I mean,
So you're saying that, aside from the explosive hands, you're saying that as a shops player, you kind of want to lean a lot more on hate, right? Like lean a lot more on taxing and Graph Diggers cages.
Yeah, definitely.
Than like Phyrexian Revokers.
Yeah. Like nothing wrong with Revoker, Ravager, Fast Mana, and a Thorn.
Yeah, shut off there.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Or something.
That's a winning hand, right? And then you've got probably the win because it's nice and fast. It slowed him down with a Thorn. And he's got Oath. Bummer. I'll just take it, take it on the chin, sack my creatures.
Okay. Well, after this match, Simon has changed his sideboard as well. So,
he's bluffing.
He's bluffing. The old sneaky switch a few cards. And then they go, oh, maybe he's brought in missteps back so that he can misstep my stuff. But the main thing is it doesn't affect Sarah's game plan at all. Because she's a proactive deck, right?
Yeah. I think, look, there's a lot that can go wrong for Simon. I mean, Sarah's also got a Cheeky Chalice, which a Cheeky Chalice for 0 could stop the Explosive Oath, or obviously Chalice on 2 stops Oath. And it's really, really strong and very possible to do with the Mishras.
Also stops Hercule's Recall, which is sweet. And it stops Punishing Fire, and it stops Ancient Grudge. Wow.
Yeah.
Chalice for 2 is insane.
It's pretty good. And Time Walk, which is really, really good in this deck.
Wow. Okay, alright. Chalice for 2. Wow. This is sweet. I mean, I know that people play Chalice for 2 to turn off Hercules, but it turns off heaps in this deck.
Yes. And like DT as well.
Yeah, sure, it turns off your own Revoker and your own Ballista for 1 and Hanger Back for 1, all those kind of things it does turn off, but you're locking your opponent.
Spells. I mean, you can cast them eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It turns off Ravager, but I mean, you're turning off your opponent's hand. You're turning off your opponent's half of their deck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think he had a Nature's Claim. So that would be a good way around it. And unfortunately, someone doesn't run Black, so he doesn't have Abrupt Decay.
I do really enjoy the variation of the hate. Where you play a couple of Nature's Claims, a couple of Hercules Recalls, and a Bifrost or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an explosive hand. I mean, we've got a Soul Land into. Is that a Crucible of Worlds? I don't know.
I think it is. Yeah.
PC Arts.
I think it's Crucible.
Yeah, I just only remember because I remember looking at it and I'm like, this is strictly worse than the Judge promo Old Mortis Crucible of Worlds. This looks amazing and this card looks like trash. And that's why I remember that art, because I don't remember
That's
all the
why you remember
masterpieces.
all of the Masterpiece arts.
Ah, touche. What? This is a Land Lotus Mox Sapphire, i.e. best Mox.
Precursor Golem, okay. No Wastelands from Sara, unfortunately. But look, honestly,
Mishra's Factories can get there, right?
It's a slow hand, but I think Crucible's the kind of card you want to be casting, because it goes, I can win the late game. I'm not giving you Oath things. And yeah, Precursor Golem's big boy.
He's a real big boy. He can win in a very quick couple of turns.
If you Nature's Claim a big boy, do they
Nature's
gain...
Claims all the big boys.
So you get 12 life.
I believe it places 3 copies of Nature's Claim on the stack. Is that right?
So you would gain 12 big boys. 12 life. You only get 3 big boys. Each big boy gives you 4 life. Okay, so brainstorming here from Simon. Very nice, very nice. So he's got some good information. He knows Sara doesn't have an explosive hand. He's really just looking for Mr. Orchid, because I think he knows he's got the win, but he will lose eventually. So he's really just got to find that threat, find that win, get it quick.
Yeah,
Mishra's adds up. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely. Especially when there's 2 of them, and she's got the Ancient Tomb to be able to activate both, right?
Okay, explore here. Guess he wanted to use land drop. And there's the Orchid.
Yeah, it's so, like...
I don't think I'd even time walk there. I think I'd just keep it up and give them the 1/1 and then time walk when I've got the big boy. There's too many big boys.
There's a lot of big boys.
When I apologise, because when I set the standard for a big boy to be a 5-mana spell, there's a lot of boys. There's a lot of big boys out there.
A lot of bigger boys.
We're going to start using, very large words. Larger words than there are boys. So, Grizzlebrand, the real big boy, you want to be told.
He's the dad. He's the big dad.
He's the big daddy.
Boys. So, Revoker, what do you name him? Saf? Like, Dakfade? Grizzlebrand? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, well. It's definitely a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, I'd play it here because the Orc's out anyway.
Dak. Yeah. It's fine. Dak probably wrecks you heaps, but so does Grizzledad.
So that's
Sphere.
Not really where you want to be.
No. Do you just name Grizzlebrand there? It could flip Emrakul, but, either of them is just going to kill you by attacking you. It's neither here nor there.
Sneaky little life from Lime in there that I noticed, so he did bring that in. I like that.
Nice. He's kept Misstep in? Oh, he did bring in some Missteps.
Maybe it was that re-put in Misstep.
Re-put them in, yeah. I don't like Graph Diggers when I'm playing Oath, but you've got so many Ancient Grudges in the deck, right? There's so many of them. And Nature's Claims. Right?
Yeah, I'd be happy to just...
I just don't want to draw a dead card, right? Whereas Nature's Claim Graph Digger is always going to be relevant. And there's other cards that are worse, right? Anyway, so he's dredging back Life from Loam here, which is a sign of being ahead, right?
Yeah, Life from Loam is good sort of when you're down and you're locked out and there's not much going on, but there's a lot going on, right? This game's going to be done in the next couple of turns. So.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be a tidy sum sorted out there. So that's a little token there. That's a little Forbidden Orchard token. You're returning Strip Mine, Grove of the Burn Willows, and some superfluous land, right?
It's just or something.
It's just a draw cards, right?
Yeah.
The loam here. Do you? There's a way that Sara can win here, and that is Simon activates Grizzlebrand and then dredges Life from the Loam back. And that's 10 cards out of his deck. And then he does it again the next turn, and he triggers Oath, and he loses.
He doesn't have to trigger Oath, which is a very important factor, guys. You do not have to trigger Oath. You do not have to. Sometimes people have already lost the game, and it's obvious, and they go, oh, well, just want to see if you're going to mill yourself, mate. And I run Memory's Journey, and I also don't trigger Oath.
Just choose. I will choose not to punt.
Yeah.
But, you do it because there's times where they've sided out one of, they have 3 Oath creatures in their deck. They side one of them out to fit in more hate because they're not expecting Swords of Plowshares and some other things. And then they go to trigger it.
Yeah.
The third one. And you're like, okay.
Well, sometimes you run out of Wincons. If you've only got two Wincons in your deck and one of them gets swords, then you're like,
yeah. Or do I trigger Oath? Do you trigger it and then end up...
Yeah, I don't want to get snap swords.
Yeah.
I guess they can't have them when you run the biggest daddy, the granddaddy Emrakul.
Yeah, so Grizzledad.
I swear that's as big as it's getting, guys.
Mumrakul. If the two of them had a baby, it would be the scariest Oath target.
Stop.
How much would he cost? 18?
It costs exactly in between 8 and 15.
Oh, this
exactly
OP.
In between,
and just has
what's that? 11.5.
Can't be targeted by sorceries, but not instant. But it can be targeted by instants. Pay 7 life, draw 3.5 cards.
The block, the swing into Grizzlebrand.
Yeah,
I guess the logic there is Sara wanted to lose creatures to trigger
Oath the following turn,
but she had the 1/1.
Yeah, the Forbidden Orchard is going to stop that. I think you're just so used to seeing Grizzlebrand tapped attacking you that you're like, I'll just swing this guy in because you don't have any blockers.
Yeah,
it happens so often, right? Yeah. That it's a pretty normal mistake. But when you're this far behind, you're like, can this game be over sooner? She does have, the ability to attack with Mishra's Factories. It's not going to be enough given the life race. But, when you have 3 Mishra's Factories and a Forbidden Orchard token, it does actually match the amount of life gain that Grizzlebrand's getting. The problem is that you're the one losing 7 every turn.
Yeah, and I imagine a cheeky 21 cards. Someone will surely find a Force of Will for Metamorph at this stage, right?
It's a lot.
Just a sneaky 30 deck. Probably closer to half your deck at this stage, right?
Yep. Metamorph. Nice.
I like that.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's just a redraw here.
Doesn't do anything, but I was thinking of
cool little interactions with Emrakul, go to the graveyard, and then you're like, wait, Emrakul's not going to go to the graveyard. Emrakul's going to be beating face.
Yes, and with that, the game was done.
Grizzle, Dad, and Emrakul doing work.
I think there's
she's still in the deck. I mean,
the only out is Crack Relic, find
Metamorph. Hope they don't have counterspell in 21 cards.
That's it.
Plus hand.
Oh, they could all be in bin, mate.
Yeah. yeah. Not irrelevant.
They're probably not.
Is this an end of turn just punishing fire? Because it's just like, maybe I can just get lethal off punishing fire just to kill you next turn. So, return this, have 1 red floating, burn you for 2, take you to...
He's getting punishing fire back
in response to the relic. On the stack. Yep, got it. Makes sense. And returning another punishing fire. Yeah, this is the lethal, right? Return a second punishing fire. Ancient Grudge, sorry. My bad. So that was just...
So he's grudging the sphere.
Yeah. Okay, so tapped the Grove for green, and tapped the Vault for red. The red returned the punishing fire, and the green flashed back the Ancient Grove.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that doesn't work off strip line, but no, that makes sense now. Yeah, and had to pay the 1 from the tax. So he's got punishing fire in hand. He's got a 7 swing from Grizzledad, but it still takes it a 1.
Come on. Surely he'll find
a second punishing fire.
That's it.
Yeah, and tap the Forbidden Orchard for red, so that he doesn't have to tap the Grove of the Burn Willows to give extra life or anything. Oh no, it's because you don't want anything to go to the graveyard with Relic of Progenitors out. All we're doing here, we know the game is tied up, but all we're doing is trying to make sure that Simon wins on his turn, right? That's what we're planning. We don't want an extra turn to go back to Sara. We just want to put her out of her misery. Right? Don't be cruel here, Simon.
So
that's what he's planning. He's planning.
So then you take 5 minutes trying to think of the least cruel. What's the quickest way I can?
Yeah. As opposed to swing for 7, go to my turn. Swing, pass to you, go to my turn, swing for 7.
So he's dredging there correctly, which puts the 5 back. No, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have Grove, so he can't return Grove anyway.
Yeah, so he draws 6 cards. He dredges and draws 6 cards.
No, that was a grudge. The arts look very similar.
Yeah, and this was all in response to
Relic.
To Relic being on the stack.
Where is Relic?
It's getting exiled. So it resolved. It resolved, and then she cracks it to draw a card. Right. And exiles her graveyard, exiles the other graveyard. I mean, do you just tap Forbidden Orchard there and return the other punishing fire?
You need them to gain life.
Yeah, but they've gained life this turn.
Ooh, they have too.
Yeah, so you just get the punishing fire, then you fire their face twice.
Very good, very good.
We'll get there. So is that a ballista drawn? It doesn't change anything, right? Like,
it's not going to do anything.
You play a ballista for 1. No. Yes, you do. You just play ballista for 1 because you can always shoot your own tokens if you ever needed to trigger Oath.
I think you play ballista for 1 and
but then there's already Forbidden Orchard there anyway. Yeah.
No, because then you're paying 2 life, right?
Yeah, that seems paying 2 life seems incorrect. Okay.
I mean, it's done, right?
It's done. Okay, Simon strip and wastes the 2 Mishras as opposed to attacking and burning face. Surely, he didn't return the second punishing fire from the graveyard, so that line was not open. But no, you can do it here. You can punishing fire, then return it and punishing fire, right? If you just don't crack the waste and strip.
Yeah. So if he needed to do it at the end of the turn, give Sara 1/1, but who cares, right?
But this is in main phase. You attack for 7. She goes to 3, and then you go punish your face, pay 1 red, punish your face.
Yes.
But it means that you can't strip waste, which doesn't matter because she's dead.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I think what he was enjoying the game so much.
Yes.
I mean, wanted to...
Even at this stage, Metamorph doesn't do it because now fire kills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you get in response fire to whatever she casts. Right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But I think Simon's enjoying this game.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that this is shown on camera how far ahead Oath is over Shops. Sara putting a valiant effort in to play a ballista.
Yeah, she's trying to figure out how does she deploy her wing cons without tapping Ancient Tomb.
That's right. Ballista for 1 here. No, it doesn't work. Metamorph is there.
She had it, but she didn't...
Yeah, you can't actually play Metamorph through Sphere and Ancient Tomb.
Yeah. So, well done to Simon.
That's right.
Very
That's
nice.
wrapped up. Valiant effort from Sara as well in the face of great adversity on the other side. And thank you very much for watching, and we will bring you another round.
All right, see you later, guys.